popping out. We'll see what's going on here. Yeah. So, Golden Boy, we need you to get it psyched up. We need you to get ready.
Oh, no, I'm excited to watch it. I'm going to be very scared. I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to go over to the media area. And I'm going to, you know, I'm going to be horrified because it's going to be great. It's time, though, for our next presenter. And here, with their 2021 E3 presentation, is Bandai Namco presents House of Ashes.
Here we go.
An ancient horror has awoken from its slumber and is hungry for blood. Shall we see how many have fallen into shadow?
Satellite sweeps of the war zone have uncovered what appears to be an underground storage facility. But I strongly suspect it's where chemical weapons are hidden, so we need to move fast.
Ready to go dark.
To descend into the unknown alone is extremely brave.
Man out, hold fire.
Or extremely foolish.
We're gonna psy out this shit.
Brothers in arms, or will it be a case of each man for himself?
Down, get down! We're up on the ridge! Return fire!
You teeter on the edge of an abyss. Your survival depends on the choices you make. They will be as a compass, guiding you through the unknown.
Where on God's green earth have we landed?
What nightmare have these luckless souls fallen into?
You keep lookout.
Lookout? Lookout for what?
One by one, their lights will be snuffed out. Unless you can find the means to save them. Trapped beneath the earth. Swallowed
Let's go.
by the void. Will you find the path to salvation? Or be lost in the darkness forever?
Okay, I want to see some gameplay, y'all. You gotta give me some gameplay. This ain't gonna fly with me. Give me some gameplay.
We're here at Supermassive to talk about the next game in the Dark Pictures anthology, House of Ashes. And I'm joined by exec producer Dan. How you doing?
Hello.
Thank you for joining us. Right, so let's start at the very start. We're going to be talking about House of Ashes for most of the interview, but for those that don't know, tell us about the Dark Pictures anthology.
The Dark Pictures is a series of narrative, story-driven, branching horror stories. Each one is standalone. They each tell a different story, completely separated from the others, but within the same universe, so there is connection between them all. House of Ashes is set at the end of the Iraq War in 2003, with links 4,000 years ago that set the story up.
So tell us more about the theme and themes, I suppose, within House of Ashes.
It starts off with a military unit. They've got some new technology that can look for weapons of mass destruction underground. They think they've identified something in the Zagros Mountains in Iraq. And then as part of that, they come into conflict with an Iraqi unit. There's a pitched firefight, and then the two groups are plunged underground. There's an earthquake of some sort, and it's revealed that there's a hidden temple underground. You know, these big massive structures, but these different groups, they're all separated, radio contact is lost, and they're submerged in this black darkness.
Where on God's green earth have we landed?
And then they're going to start hearing things and seeing things, and people are going to start disappearing.
What the f just happened?
So this time it's a very real threat.
All of the Dark Pictures games, they all pull something from real life or from history, from fact. What's the case with the myth or historical part of House of Ashes?
So we love looking at and reading myths and legends and stories and doing our research. And we know our fans love it as well, because there's something that they can link into afterwards. And I love doing that when I'm playing games or watching movies myself. So this one's set 4,000 years ago, the Akkadian Empire, and this terrible evil that happened. We had this self-proclaimed God King, Naram Sin, And he essentially cursed his people. He sacked this temple and brought famine and devastation to his own people. And so a lot of the history is lost, but we've done a lot of research about it. And then we had a lot of happy accidents that linked into the story we wanted to tell. And the fun thing for us is we get to do our own take on it. We get to twist it, and obviously we've made our own truth from it.
At the end of the sneak peek, the trailer, we saw monsters. Tell us a bit more about what's going on there.
The military unit that you're playing as, they don't really know what they're coming up against. They're not human, they're bigger, they're larger, they're faster. The team aren't going to know if there's one or two of them, or hundreds or thousands of them. And that's kind of the threat with this. You know, they've got guns, maybe they could try and take one of them down. But maybe there's another one around the corner, or maybe there's a group of them, and maybe they're going to get ambushed.
Maybe they're like a cluster.
Exactly,
and
yeah,
they'll pop
a
out
nest,
at once.
as it were.
Yeah.
And it's been really fun to work on and see these things move around and how horrific they can be. They're different to us. They perceive the world in a different way. Getting little snippets of it in the darkness, and did I see that? Was it something that moved? Or is it actually just one of the other soldiers that's stuck in the catacombs?
Who's there?
We like to try and misdirect people on things, you know, that did you see something, did you not? And that's a great thing within horror, that you think you're going to be scared right now. And we're not going to scare you now. We'll scare you in a minute when you're not expecting it.
It's always coming.
Yeah, always.
So should we expect a huge amount of peril in the game?
Definitely. We love to do it. You know, it's fun for us to work on, as horrific as it is, and we know that our fans love it as well. So yeah, there's at least 60 unique deaths, and there's a whole ton of variation on that as well. So Merwin and some of the others, you're going to see different things happening to them depending on how you play it out, you know, getting ripped and shredded and torn. And because there's a firefight, there's going to be bullets flying as well and all kinds of stuff. And it's not just the deaths, it's the gore that goes along with it, and you know, lots of blood.
Wicked. It sounds absolutely terrifying. I'm in.
No, not gonna lie, man. It's pretty bad.
What differences have you made, or changes have you made to the gameplay and mechanics for House of Ashes?
We're always evolving the Dark Pictures. We listen to a lot of the feedback from our fans, and also our team, what they want to do, how they want to push things forward. So we tried some stuff in Little Hope with you know, more camera control, 360 cameras at certain parts, and we've really leaned on that again, and it really works well. In House of Ashes, lots of the game is set underground, and so these sort of corridors, which are really tight and oppressive.
Creepy.
Yeah, indeed. So we've had to learn, because you take away the fixed cameras, and that takes away some opportunities for horror. But we've had to learn new tricks to scare people and, you know, ramp up the tension and you know, the chance for jump scares, which we know some people love. We've also got a new torch mechanic, so you know, it's military themed, so these guys are going to be walking around with weapons, with torches mounted on them. We love the lighting that we do, this sort of really inky black darkness that we have, and sort of the contrast to the bright areas.
Oh my gosh,
and so you're going to need to lean on that torch to allow you to see where you're going, what the threat is, and that kind of stuff. We've also done things like added difficulty settings to this game. So in Little Hope we added you know, QTE warning icons as an example, and we've got some really good positive feedback about that, but also some people want to turn that off. We want to allow you to play the game in your way. So with our accessibility settings and difficulty settings, if you want to have a more casual experience, you can change those settings. Still, most of your characters are going to end up dead, but you know, that's
spoilers,
what happens,
yeah,
indeed.
but that's what we come here for. That's okay, we can deal with it. So I've got to ask, what was it like working with Ashley?
So Ashley was fantastic. She researched Rachel, she understood her when she came on the set. It's so refreshing, she knew her inside out. And Rachel is a flawed character, so she brought that through so fantastically. The rest of the cast were fantastic as well.
When we were looking for Joey, Salim helped me.
And you didn't tell me this because...
You'd flip your shit.
We want you to connect to these characters and understand them as humans. We want them to seem real because they're real to us. You know, we spend a long time designing them, and I don't mind if you hate any one individual character, because you don't like everyone in real life. But maybe you'll like them when you see the journey they go on.
Maybe you'll like them once they're dead and you feel bad about it.
And you feel bad about it, definitely.
Yeah.
But also we want you to save them. We want you to try and save them. You know, we know that some people want to get everyone killed straight away, and that's fine. That's their playthrough, cool. That's what they want to do. But, you know, can you get everyone out alive and save as many as you can?
There's a lot of replayability there.
Indeed,
Goes on forever. I like that. So, last question. Favourite scene?
Favourite scene? So, Salim, our Iraqi soldier, and Jason Kolchak, one of the Marines that's there, there's a way that can play out, and a sort of contest between them, and you can make it go in a number of different ways.
The enemy of my enemy is my friend.
it's really emotional. Seeing them film it, I was lucky enough to be there, and then seeing that come through in game, I think we've got something there. I think that's gold. And then, of course, I love scaring people, so I love the jump scares. I love the moments of tension that we bring. We can't hold you in that moment, so we've got some fantastic jokes in there as well to allow you to relax for a moment before we scare you again.
To take your mind off the imminent threat. I like that. Dan, thank you so much. This has been really cool to talk about, and I'm sure, you know, I'm excited and terrified in equal part, and everyone else is just excited, I'm sure of it.
And it's been a real pleasure to speak to you, and I can't wait to get it into people's hands.
It's going to happen.
So basically like an XCOM.
Before we dive in to House of Ashes, see how scared you got, of course, we want to thank Razer for being one of the E3 2021 sponsors. Of course, giving us these tired old blades nobody cares about. But this Blade 14, RTX 3080 built right in. Of course, the Razer
I'm taking that.
Thank you so much. No, I'm taking that.
Okay, we'll fight.
Okay, well,
we've done it before.
You know what? I'll take the hand-me-down. I'll be little brother. I'll take the outdated. Nobody wants these anymore, right? Doesn't worry. Golden Boy, you just saw the Dark Pictures anthology.
Yeah.
Your first glimpse of it. We have some reactions from you.
Oh, you do?
They were recording you. They said you were a little scared, not terrified.
Not terrified, thankfully, because it was just a normal trailer, which is fine. See, there's my face.
You're unsettled for sure.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. No, you don't like that. You
don't like that. No, not a fan of that one either. Nope.
Nope.
Yeah, I think that was one of the jump scares.
Dark Picture Anthology at House of Ashes. So Supermassive Games in Liverpool, UK, making that one, being published by Bandai Namco. I personally have fallen off the Dark Pictures Anthology, very guilty, but I did love Until Dawn. I had a great time with that one. Persia, what about you? What's your experience with Dark Pictures?
I played Man of Medan, which was interesting because I hadn't really played Until Dawn, so I didn't know what to expect even hopping into that one, but there was some sort of satisfaction kind of going through it all and seeing everyone die. Yeah. So now I'm thinking about how they were talking about all of the bloody deaths coming in House of Ashes. I'm like, let's see if we can run this back.
I was gonna say, because the dev was saying that, like, obviously there are people who you're gonna want to kill, or at least there are always players who are gonna try and kill everyone. I am a player who will try and save as many as I can, so I can't really identify. Tam, what's your experience with these ones?
Yeah, I played a bunch of Man of Medan, and I went to like a kind of like spoke to the developers behind it, and I think the thing about it for me currently is the ambition that the developers have for it, especially coming off Until Dawn and the critical acclaim that they got for that, and what they've executed on has been slightly at odds with each other. I feel like they've got the spark of something and it's just not quite hitting in terms of one thing or another. Sometimes it's like the writing's not all there, sometimes it's like the atmosphere's not quite there, or like the decision-making moments aren't perhaps amazing. This one definitely feels like it's starting to look like it could be the most interesting, especially thematically, narratively. So I'm really excited to jump back into it and see how they deal with it. Like the idea of a kind of like military setting where this weird supernatural thing is happening and how that impacts the people around it, the mental states of them, and then them knowing that in terms of gameplay they needed to shake it up a bit. I think that is really good, a really good sign going into this new entry in that series. So I am definitely more inclined to keep an eye on it and check it out when it comes out for sure.
Yeah, I think to your point there, if you think about Until Dawn, I remember when that one was announced, came out 2015, I remember it being announced like way ahead, and it was very different. I think I remember it was like a PlayStation Move game, like you use the PS Move as sort of your torch or flashlight, and then ultimately like the way that game evolved. And so maybe Supermassive have learned something and they're just kind of making these shorter experiences that are still, you know, full to the brim of player choice, but are maybe less ambitious in all the millions of different permutations you could potentially get in Until Dawn. I'm probably over-exaggerating when I say millions, but definitely a lot. So it's good to see, and also means that they can be a little bit quicker when it comes to reacting to things like player feedback. As you can see, they're changing their accessibility options, which is always a fantastic thing to hear and see developers do, but also changing the way that they're adding like difficulty settings, and they're changing the camera stuff, because I loved Until Dawn in the way that it had like this filmic quality. It was, every shot seemed very, very deliberate, and it's obviously, you know, a throwback to something like Resident Evil, where you sort of have the tank controls and the very deliberately posed cameras. But that does mean that like some players are not going to enjoy that, and so I'm intrigued to see them experiment with a freer camera for this one. The story hasn't particularly grabbed me just yet, because I have never heard of the Akkadian Empire. British schooling, unfortunately, did not go that far, but it sounds intriguing, like a court that kind of ends up all bloody and full of betrayal. I love that stuff. Persia, what do you make of the setting and the fact that Ashley, I didn't realize Ashley Tisdale was in it. Obviously they always have like a big name, like Sean Ashmore, Rami Malek, Hayden Panettiere, like they always have these big names, and now Ashley Tisdale.
I know, I didn't know either until we were watching the presentation, and obviously, you know, my guilty pleasure was High School Musical back in the day, so I'm very
it is not a guilty pleasure.
You know,
it is a
pleasure. You know, pop, 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 pop to the top, you know, and I feel like maybe we'll see that out of House of Ashes rising to the top, because like you were mentioning before, there are a lot of elements where they might have fallen short before, and I feel like they're kind of addressing all of that now. We saw from the mocap sessions, and even hearing like the voice acting and how people like Ashley Tisdale approach becoming a character, it looks very involved, so I'm interested to see more. And they were mentioning, oh, you know, we gotta find new ways to scare people, but they definitely had no issue scaring me in the ones that I've played, so I'm like, do you know, do you? But for everyone else who's, you know, much tougher than I am when it comes to horror games, they are specifically looking towards you guys to seemingly make scarier things happen, and I'm just gonna have to brace myself for it.
House of Ashes is coming out later this year, so this is the final day of the official E3 broadcast. We still have 2 more days of GameSpot's Play for All, so it's going to be packed full of developer interviews, exclusive trailers, gameplay, as well as sessions with some well-known faces from around the industry to chat about the big reveals from this week. But today, because the stream ain't going nowhere, today we also have the GameSpot Showcase, which is something that Tam helped put together in collaboration with The Mix. Tam, do you want to tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, so the GameSpot Showcase is something that is quite near and dear to our hearts, and my heart specifically as well, to get it out of the way, because I know what it's like to go into a showcase not knowing what's there. This isn't about AAA experiences. This isn't, you're not going to get an Elden Ring here. You won't see Halo pop up. You won't have any AAA games like that. However, the games that are going to be there are really cool. They're really interesting. I hand-selected a bunch of them myself, and my approach to it was like, I'm going to pick a bunch of games that I know my friends are going to like. And there's games in there that I thought about when I saw them. It was like, oh, this person that I work with is going to love this, or this person I know is going to love this. And they're all games that are tied together thematically or in terms of purpose, in that they are exploring interesting subject matter that is often not explored in AAA games, or they're created by teams of diverse perspectives, or they're created by, you know, teams that want to have a message, or they're games that are designed to be uplifting and cozy and that kind of stuff. This is the kind of stuff that I think is going to be, like I said, not blockbuster games that you're going to be like, holy moly, this is going to be game of the year. I mean, some of them will be game of the year, I'm sure, for a lot of people, but it's the smaller experiences that are going to be meaningful to you in your life, and they will either make you feel good about playing them, or they'll make you think when you put them down, or you'll want to speak to someone and be like, you should check this game out. It's a small indie game that's really, really neat. And it's split up into it's an hour, and there are 4 interviews that are going to happen.
But and it's the last part of that is just.
Yeah, I'm trying to find it, see what the hell happened.
Minutes each per interview, in between that,
I guess it's still it. Only showing one fucking game. No, y'all.
Allows me the chance to feel like just a regular old fan of video games. You know, I
So I think that was just it for Bandai Namco. Are you serious?
giving people things to get excited about.
So
we made an effort to make sure that there's always going to be something that.
But for the
someone
record,
watching there is going to be like, oh, that's cool, or as in the interview sections, there's stuff there that you're going to say like, oh, that's an interesting perspective or subject matter. So yeah, please do check it out and share it. Let people know. This is the first time we've done anything like this, and I hope that people
on the
take
fucking
to
Nintendo Switch
it.
store, so I went and downloaded that shit because
yeah, well, that is today at 3:30.
my Switch gotta finish, my Switch gotta finish, my
we'll be streaming the whole thing. You can also find it on the ESA's broadcast,
I'm going for it.
3's broadcast.
Making it happen,
but it's gonna be a good time, and Tam's put a lot of
come
hard
back
work,
because I'm sick of hearing
as well as the folks at the mix.
Get to the point, show me the
put it all
games,
together,
y'all.
So make sure you watch. That's not all that we have today. The official E3 awards are also happening. Persia, I mean, what do you think is going to be, what do you think is the game that is going to like walk away with the most awards today?
I mean, it's tough because when I first started watching all the press conferences, as they were coming by, every conference had something that caught my eye, but you know, I gotta stick with my roots. Like, the Halo multiplayer looked really, really good. It got me super excited, and honestly, I've watched it so many times, slowing it down, looking at everything, seeing what's new, what's coming back, and it just reminds me of the old days when I used to play so much Halo 2 and like, you know, breaking the game down with friends, and I'm ready to run it all back in 2021. You know, holiday season is coming, so honestly, I gotta give all my love to Halo, even though there were a ton of games that were really cool. Like, my second favorite is probably Redfall so far. I really love the cinematic, I love the theme. You know, some friends of mine, we've been kind of trying out like VTM and stuff, and there was also a VTM game too. There's just so much. It's just hard to pin down. It's hard to pin down anything, but Halo is definitely going to be it for me.
Tam, what about you?
You know the answer to this. You know the answer to this.
Well, does it count though? Because it was in a different show.
I do not care. In the last month, the best thing to happen to the world has been an Elden Ring trailer and a release date. We got a release date and a trailer. That is wild. Elden Ring is, yeah, it is of the event of the E3 season, the Summer Games mess. Elden Ring is my pick. But if I had to pick outside of that, I would have said Halo, but Persia locked it down, so, and I appreciate that. So that at least it's getting some mention there. But Metroid looks amazing. I'm so excited for that. Advance Wars is back, and I'm so excited for that as well. And Replaced as well, I think, is one that really, really stood out to me. Such a cool looking game. But if I had to pick one of those, Metroid Dread easy.
Yeah, I mean, it's been, I don't know, like, I've been sort of trying to make a list as we've gone through E3 about games that I've really got my eye on. Definitely Elden Ring, absolutely Redfall, Halo as well, Breath of the Wild 2, Mario plus Rabbids. Also, I'm weirdly excited about Rocksmith Plus, even though, like, it's a piece of training software, I suppose. But I think for me, Persia, you kind of nailed it when you were talking about Redfall. Like, anything that Arcane makes, I'm gonna just absolutely eat up. And I love that this, obviously it is a CGI trailer, not indicative of gameplay at all, but the world that they look like they're working in and building. It's always my favorite part of Arcane games, is the strength of the world building meets the strength of the artistic direction, and how those fuse together and meld with gameplay. And I love the way that they craft those things, and because it makes you feel like you're in this believable place. So I'm very, very excited to see more of Redfall. But if you want something that we saw gameplay of, I don't know, like, I also thought Guardians looked really cool. Like, I also interviewed the team behind it. They seemed so passionate about it, and we had a real fun time. That'll be shown as part of our Play for All showcase. I either tomorrow or Thursday. But Guardians looks genuinely fun. I love that it's kind of, they're doing the Marvel Spider-Man thing of taking pre-existing characters that everyone loves and like putting their own spin on it, so it's not something that we'll have seen in the MCU or necessarily read. Obviously there will be characters that we'll recognize, so I'm just excited to see more of that one, especially that soundtrack too, because like the licensed soundtrack really got me. As soon as I heard Joan Jett, I was like, yeah, that's me, I'm in.
I loved it too, I'm not gonna lie. I'm a sucker for Groot, alright? I will just throw it out there. I'm such a sucker for Groot, and watching it was really exciting, and I want to see more. I want to see, you know, what else we can do. Like, am I going to see maybe baby Groot at some point? Like, equally heartbreaking but exciting at the idea of it happening. And yeah, great, it looked really good. Gamora, she kind of has her outfit that's more closer to her older design and not really her MCU design, which is my personal favorite because she was my main in Marvel Infinite, who also has.
She looks like the Infinite version.
Design. Yes.
Yeah, she looks like the Infinite version. The moment she popped up, I was like, "That's Infinite." I've seen
it.
Yep.
I love it, so I'm looking forward to it too.
Yeah. Any other games that caught your eye, Tam?
I think that's pretty much the. There's also the Kurosawa game, which I'm forgetting the name of because my memory is shot at this point. But that kind of that looked really cool. But other than that, yeah, I think I need to go back and really check out. Like 12 Minutes got a release date, and I'm hyped as hell about that. But I want to go back and watch a bunch of those. Starfield, we could say Starfield as well, I guess. Like nothing in terms of gameplay, but the vibe of it was really cool, and I'm excited for that. But yeah, I think all those games that are coming to Game Pass are my games of the show.
Game Pass is the game of the show.
Game Pass is my game of the show.
It's also really strange to hear about like E3 awards with no one going hands-on with anything. Like, because that was always sort of the best bit of E3 is like walking around the booths and having hands-on with the games there, and then seeing all the awards kind of stack up. So it's a weird one, but I'm excited. I think Halo is going to walk away with a lot. I think they've really turned it around. The sentiment definitely seems to be just way higher from that first reveal that they had last summer. So I'm stoked for that. We should talk about what else we're doing as a part of Play for All. So we have 2 days of live streams starting tomorrow, 9 a.m. I believe, running until about 2 or 3. So we're kind of all going to be anchoring like Tam, Persia and I, Kurt, Dave, going to be popping on as well. And then we're going to be chatting about the interviews and the hands-on and all of the gameplay and trailers that we're going to be showing. I don't know how public our schedule is yet. Tam, maybe you can speak to
I don't think it's super public, but what we can say is around E3 we're usually given access to a bunch of, you know, executives and people who you would have seen on stage at E3, or developers that are key minds behind some of these games. And as always, we did interviews with them, we spoke to them, and we've kind of been storing that up for the next couple of days. Now that the hubbub of the press conferences and the reveals is out of the way, now you'll be able to really dig into some of the games that have been shown and also hear from the people that are behind it. So we will have interviews with the likes of Pete Hines, and we'll have interviews with Nintendo folks and folks that are working on games. So it is well worth tuning in over the next couple of days. Yeah, like Lucy said, we're all going to be there as well, and it's kind of the storm has passed now, so we're kind of calming down. So we're just going to have fun with it. We're going to keep it easy breezy, maybe get a bit weird. So we'll make sure to make it entertaining for you, as well as it being informative and insightful from the people that we bring on. And obviously loads of trailers as well. So a lot of exclusive trailers as well. So you'll get a good helping of everything you want from an E3 for the next two days.
And I mean, I know you said that we're slowing down, but we're not really. So if you remember what we did for Play for All last year, it was a 6-week-long event where we had sort of the E3 side of it. We had like every major press conference in that time, so obviously everyone was more spread out than just being an E3 week, and so it was 6 weeks long. And if we weren't doing something about new releases or press conferences, we were running charity streams. We raised a lot of money last year for Black Lives Matter and Direct Relief COVID support. So this year, that's coming back in earnest. We are partnering with Able Gamers to raise money for them, a fantastic charity that helps people with disabilities just play games, and like their mission is so strong. And we were talking to Steve Swan, who is going to be joining us on a live stream next week, and the fact that gaming helps bring people together, it's like just this joyous activity that like we know you're all gamers, because otherwise why would you be here to partake in, and like especially over quarantine it's helped to bring so many people together. So Able Gamers works not only in accessibility consulting but also in changing pieces of hardware so that people with disabilities can play. I mean, I know this is like their tagline is so that everyone can play, and that is such a strong mission. So we are going to be raising money to go towards their Spawn Together initiative that Steve's put together. Tam, do you want to talk a little bit about what we've got planned?
Yeah, so the Spawn Together initiative is kind of this community effort to get to, I believe it's $1 million raised. And like Lucy said, they work on making peripherals and making stuff easier, but they also have an educational track for the things that they do, where they help people kind of educate themselves on how to design games to be more accessible. So it's a super important cause, and to support that cause, we've brought in friends from around the industry, and you know, there are people that we're fans of and we wanted to work with and we're excited to work with, and we're going to say who they are, a few of them, but stuff is fluid, people are always moving in and out, so you know, you never know, there could be some last minute changes. But obviously we are going to be partnering with our friends at Giant Bomb. We're going to have a stream with that crew there. We're going to have Jake Baldino is going to be here from Game Ranks. We're going to be playing some Metal Gear, and we're going to be doing some really goofy stuff with Metal Gear. If you're a fan of anime, you will obviously know the YouTuber Super Eyepatch Wolf. And Super Eyepatch Wolf was very kind enough last year to hang out with us and you know, play a game for the first time. He'd never played What Remains of Edith Finch, and he wanted to play that on stream, and we did that. So we've brought him back, and we've teamed him up with internet sensation, one of the smartest minds in my eyes around right now, H Bomber Guy. So it's going to be me, Lucy, H Bomber Guy, and Super Eyepatch Wolf. We're going to be playing Heave Ho, and we're going to try and have an intelligent discussion at the same time. Beyond that, we've got the Kind of Funny crew coming on. We'll have Greg, Snowback Mike, Blessing, and we're going to be playing. We're going to be playing. What are we playing again?
Knockout City. We were playing Knockout City, which was a ton of fun. And we've also got Steve Swan from Able Gamers joining us as well. And John Robertson is going to be doing his incredible dark room with us next Tuesday, which is like an interactive choose your own adventure. It's wickedly twisted. He streams it quite frequently. He did a charity stream the other week, and I popped on and I had the best time, and it's like all interactive with Twitch. He does some really cool stuff there, so you won't want to miss it. We're going to be streaming twice daily. 10 a.m. PT until 12 p.m. PT is kind of like the morning slot, and then 2 p.m. PT till 4 p.m. the afternoon slot, except the Friday is just one big long stream with us and our friends at Giant Bomb. Very excited for that one, because obviously, like, I mean, Tam right there is repping the Giant Bomb right now, unintentionally, I assume.
Always. No, I did it on purpose. I was like, I'm gonna wear my Giant Bomb t-shirt today because I need the energy. But yeah, those are just a few of them. We've got way more people lined up. It's gonna be fun, and like I said, we're raising money. We've set our goal. As GameSpot does, we shoot for the moon. We've set a goal of $50,000. So please do share. The link is available right now. You can start donating.
I believe it's on screen.
It should be on screen. If
tinyurl.com/playforall2021.
Yep, there it is. You'd love to see it. tinyurl.com/playforall2021. Please, if you can donate, you know, it's going in there. If you can't share it around.
Bro, am I tripping or this barely Namco just showed up one fucking video and that was it? I know Dragon Ball Z news, nothing like that. Like, I can't be tripping.
Share all you
right?
can. Let's try and get as close to 50K as we can. If not, hit it.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a lot of fun. We've put a lot of heart and soul and blood and sweat and tears into arranging not only E3 but sort of like a week of charity stuff. We're gonna like blow off some steam, have fun with some faces that you may know and recognize, and also raise a bunch of money for charity. So that's our plan for the next week and a bit. Because you thought E3 was over today, it's definitely not. Like I said, so the rest of this afternoon we have the GameSpot Play for All Showcase. We have the E3 awards. We're gonna wrap up here very quickly, but later on today we've got Kurt and Persia back to do the sort of end of day wrap. So before we go, just now, what have been your biggest, like the most fun thing you saw today?
That's some shit.
WarioWare, oh my gosh, I played so much WarioWare back in the day. They had the most random
Yo, Bandai Namco literally showed that one fucking video on the end of the interview, and that was it.
WarioWare fit right in that pocket.
Other than that,
and the fact that they announced it, I was like,
well,
what?
that wraps
And
it
then
up
I
for
could
me.
play with friends.
I'm gonna head out. Probably the game later, though, but
Perfect. I love it.
yeah,
Was
I'm
not
gonna call it
expecting
call it
I
an
like
event.
got hyped
Later,
in the
Tennis.
group chat, and they were like, this is for
What a waste.
you know,